Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I've achieved so much. Why don't I feel like myself anymore? Why do I feel so disconnected? Why do I feel like something is off? I don't believe women lose themselves overnight. I know it didn't happen for me in that way. I believe we lose ourselves room by room. Hear me out. There are four rooms almost every woman enters. Room number one, the room of achievement. Number two, the room of responsibility. Number three, the room of relationships. Number four, the room of healing. Now, none of these rooms are bad. We all need and have needed to be in them. The problem is when you stay in them too long. And when you stay in them too long, they quietly begin to consume your identity. They consume you. They consume that energy, that life force that you're thinking, what's happening to me? Well, what's happening is those rooms are consuming that energy. Today, though, I want to show you why so many extraordinary women feel disconnected from themselves. And then I'm going to introduce you to another room, a room that shifts everything, the fifth room, the room where a woman finally comes home to herself. She speaks from her truth. She aligns and energetically aligns herself to her values, to where she's going in life. So let's go deeper. The fifth room is self-possession. It is sovereignty. It's where you move from those rooms, those other rooms, and you just come back home to yourself. It's like you and your body, you connect. And you start to feel like, oh, that's what was going on. Girl, no judgment though. I stayed in some of these rooms for years. So let's start with room number one, the room of achievement. Girl, it's beautiful, but it can be the golden cage. I know about this room so well and so deeply. It is like I was married to this room. What this room teaches you is I am what I produce. And at first, it feels exciting. You get the degrees, you get the promotions, you build the business, you have the recognition and the money. And let's be honest, achievement gives us confidence. You win, you scale, you hit the metrics. And instead of feeling free, you find yourself locked inside the very standard you built. Every milestone becomes a new floor to ceiling wall. And eventually, you mistake performance for your identity. And the illusion that comes with this is if you reach the next level, you'll finally feel safe and secure. And you start to realize, I don't feel safe and secure. I feel trapped. Not that achievement is wrong, but at some point you have to move to another room. Here's a question now that I want you to think about. When was the last time you rested without earning it? I mean, really stopping and saying, I'm taking $1 million nap. I'm going to rest. I call it the $1 million nap because that is integration. That's when you can feel at home in your body and relax enough that your nervous system goes, ah. Because when you're in the achievement room, there's a power leak that happens. You become addicted to proving instead of being. So, how do you fix this? You shift from accumulation to sovereignty. And the fifth room is about sovereignty. When you're in the achievement room, it's about output. When you're in sovereignty, you disconnect from that. You land. The sovereign part is having the structural integrity that allows you to exist comfortably without constantly proving your worth. A lot of us, we feel so tired, we can't calm down. It's because our identity has intertwined with room number one, the room of achievement. It's necessary to achieve, but when do you stop? You have to teach your body to feel secure so that you can shut it off sometimes. Okay, let's talk about room number two. Room number two is responsibility, the room of responsibility. Girl, this room whispers to us all the time, if I can't do it, everything's gonna fall apart. You become the fixer, the organizer, the emotional regulator, the dependable one. This is the room of over functioning. You carry the team's emotional load, the business operations, and everyone else's unmanaged friction because if you don't do it, it won't get done right. Eventually, you become the person who carries everything. The illusion here is my capacity to carry defines my value as a leader. Girl, I used to carry everything. I was like, if I need to get it done and it's going to be done right, I have to do it. But I was tired, so tired, until I learned that I could care, but I don't need to carry what's on the other side of the bridge, what someone else needs to do. When you carry everything, you rob the other person of their capability and you exhaust your own nervous system. When you want to shift and change, you have to understand your true embodied power is setting down what isn't yours to bear and to carry. Girl, when I first set things down, I was like, now what am I going to do? I felt so empty, but I figured out how to handle that extra energy and space and time because what happens is my energy multiplied because I wasn't leaking it everywhere. I have a question for you. Who would you be if you stopped rescuing everyone? Girl, I call that shit show university when you're trying to rescue everyone. Let people handle their own stuff, even if it's on a team. When we're on these teams and we're managing and we're directing and we are executing, we're over functioning and then we start to drift from who we are because we're thinking, if I don't do it, who does? And that causes resentment in you. Recognize when you're in room number two, the room of responsibility, way too long. Girl, that is the carrying trap. Room number three. Room number three is the room of relationships. This room is going to ask you, who do I have to become to keep love? Girl, we high capacity women, we know how to get stuff done, but we also can shapeshift and shrink and hold our energy in a way that makes us shrink to keep love. Sometimes we're people pleasing, sometimes we're walking on eggshells, over explaining, over giving, managing everyone else's emotions, trying to hold it together. Oh, girl, we adapt. We shrink our power. We modulate to keep peace. We manage optics. We prevent others from feeling intimidated by our capacity and our power. We become master contractors of everyone else's comfort at the expense of our own. That's the room of the relationship, and we stay in there way too long, leaking energy. I'm not telling you not to be loving and available, but pay attention to yourself. The awareness is key. Here's the illusion that happens here. If I remain accommodating, I will remain safe and loved. I had to practice non-interference in a relationship, and I had to watch what was unfolding, and it was painful. But I said, that is not mine to hold. That belongs to someone else. And I kept myself safe. I kept myself deeply loved while the events were unfolding. And I remained accommodating to my energy, to what I needed. And I allowed myself to be deeply cherished because I was and I am precious cargo. When you realize that you're precious cargo, you realize where you want your energy to go and where it shouldn't go. The question I want to ask you, where have you abandoned yourself to maintain peace? Girl, sometimes you have to step in your power and say, no, that does not align to me. And when you don't do it that way, you leak power. You start choosing belonging over authenticity. You think, oh my gosh, if I lose this, what? What does that mean? It means it wasn't aligned to you. Room four. Room four. My goodness, my goodness. This one I stayed in way too long. Room four is the room of healing, and this surprises people. Healing is beautiful until healing becomes another identity, another project, another thing to perfect. You spend years trying to become ready. And I'm like, what? I'm wasting all this time trying to get ready. And then one day I said, I'm ready right now. Ready, ready, ready. The trap for high achievers, you treat your personal growth and nervous system regulation like an endless renovation report and project. We are forever fixing, processing, or optimizing ourselves as if we are unable to move forward. The illusion with this is once I heal this final piece of trauma, I will finally be allowed to rest and lead. No, girl, that's an illusion. That is an illusion. You got to be ready. Allow yourself to be ready now. We're processing, we're listening, we're understanding, but never fully living. I ask you a question. Are you healing or hiding? Girl, the power leak was a, being attached to becoming and never fully inhabiting your life. So listen, none of these rooms were ever meant to become your address. Girl, it was not for you to be like, I gotta stay here for 10 years, here in this other room for 5 years, here in this room for 20 years. No, they were just classrooms, not homes. Now I want to talk about the fifth room. I want to bring you to the fifth room. The fifth room is not another strategy, not another role, not another identity. The fifth room is the room of sovereignty, self-possession, inner authority. This is where a woman walks into every room without leaving herself behind. We get in those other rooms and we leave ourselves behind. We're moving, but who we truly are is left behind. But the fifth room, that changes. You can still achieve, but you don't become the achievement. You can lead without becoming the responsibility. You can heal, but you just don't live inside those wounds forever. You can love, but you don't get caught up in losing yourself while you're loving. The fifth room is sovereignty. It is self-possession. It is inner authority. And everything else is overflow. Now I ask you a question as we're ending this video. Which room have you been living in, girl? Achievement? Responsibility? Relationships? Or healing? Or have you finally begun living in the fifth room, where your power no longer depends on what you do for everyone else, but how it depends on you? I'd love to hear which room you're in. Go to my website. I have 3 doors that you can connect to. Door number 1, reveal. Door number 2, refine. Door number 3, reign. Each one of those doors is a chance for you to get to know yourself better. Go to my website, www.embodimentiseverything.com. Embodiment is everything, my friend. I'm Eva Simone. I would love to hear what you feel about this. Tell me in the comments. And looking forward to connecting with you in the next video.